The fact that ants have two stomachs. An ant is a very unselfish worker. It has two stomachs in its tiny body. One stomach is for its own food to keep it strong. The second stomach is called a social stomach. The ant uses this to store food to share with other ants back at the colony. If a hungry ant meets a friend who has food, they can press their mouths together, and the first ant will spit a little food from its second stomach into the other's mouth. The way your bones are always being rebuilt. Your bones feel like solid rocks, but they are actually very busy living things. Every day, your body is taking away old, tiny pieces of bone and replacing them with brand new ones. It's like a construction crew that never stops working. Because of this, you get a completely new skeleton about every 10 years. The bone you have now is not the same bone you had when you were a little kid. The fact that the sun is actually white. If you look at the sun, don't do it directly, it looks yellow or orange. But if you were in space, the sun would look pure white. The only reason it looks yellow to us is because of Earth's air, the atmosphere. The air scatters the blue light away, leaving behind the yellow and red colors. It's the same reason the sky looks blue. The air is sorting the colors of the sun's light before they hit your eyes. The secret power of your saliva. Saliva is much more than just water. It contains special tools called enzymes that start breaking down your food the moment it enters your mouth. It actually turns starches like bread or potatoes into sugar right on your tongue. Also, your spit is a natural cleaner. It has things in it that kill germs and help small cuts in your mouth heal much faster than they would on your arm. The fact that your body is mostly made of space. This sounds crazy, but you're almost entirely empty space. Everything in the universe is made of tiny things called atoms. Atoms have a center, a nucleus, and tiny parts spinning around it. If an atom were the size of a giant football stadium, the center would be the size of a marble in the middle of the field, and the rest of the stadium would be totally empty. If you took away all the empty space in every person on Earth, the entire human race would fit inside a single sugar cube. The enormous, super-sized volcanoes of Mars. Mars is home to Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system. It is 3 times the height of Mount Everest and about the size of the state of Arizona. The reason Mars can grow such massive volcanoes while Earth cannot is due to a lack of plate tectonics. On Earth, the crust moves over hotspots, creating a chain of smaller islands like Hawaii. On Mars, the crust stays perfectly still. This allowed a single hotspot to pump lava into the same location for billions of years, building up a mountain so large that its top actually pokes out of the Martian atmosphere into the vacuum of space. The deep sea smoke of hydrothermal vents. At the bottom of the ocean, where there is no sunlight, life flourishes around hydrothermal vents. These vents spew black smoke, which is actually mineral-rich water heated to over 400 degrees Celsius, 750 degrees Fahrenheit by the Earth's magma. The water doesn't boil because the pressure is too high. Instead of photosynthesis, the entire ecosystem relies on chemosynthesis. Giant tube worms and ghost crabs live off bacteria that turn toxic hydrogen sulfide from the vents into energy. This process is so alien that scientists believe this is likely how life would look on moons like Jupiter's Europa. An octopus is essentially a walking brain. They have about 500 million neurons, but unlike humans, 2/3 of those neurons are located in their arms, not their head. This means each arm has a mind of its own and can taste, touch, and move independently without waiting for instruction from the central brain. If an arm is severed, it will continue to crawl and even try to grab food for several hours. This distributed intelligence makes the octopus one of the most efficient multitaskers in the animal kingdom. The way trees talk to each other. When you look at a forest, you see separate trees, but underneath the ground, they're all connected. Trees use a massive network of tiny mushrooms called fungi that act like a nature internet. Through these tiny threads, trees can actually send messages and food to each other. If a tree is being attacked by bugs, it sends a chemical warning through the roots to let its neighbors know to start protecting themselves. Older mother trees even use this network to send extra sugar to younger baby trees that aren't getting enough sunlight. The lava made of ice. On Earth, volcanoes spit out hot, melted rock. But on some moons far away in our solar system, like Saturn's moon Enceladus, the volcanoes are ice volcanoes. Instead of fire and lava, they blast out freezing cold water, ice, and steam. Because these moons have a giant ocean hidden under a thick shell of ice, the pressure builds up until the water shoots out through cracks in the surface, creating giant geysers that spray miles into space. It's a world where the magma is actually liquid water. The reason why onions make you cry. Onions don't want to be eaten. As a defense, they have a chemical trap inside them. When you slice through an onion, you break open its cells, and two different chemicals mix together to create a stinging gas. When this gas touches the water in your eyes, it turns into a tiny bit of acid. Your brain senses the sting and tells your tear ducts to produce lots of water to wash the acid away. So, your crying is actually your body's way of cleaning your eyes. A secret map in a bird's eye. How do birds fly thousands of miles and never get lost? It turns out they can see the Earth's magnetic field. Scientists believe birds have a special protein in their eyes that lets them see the magnetic lines of the planet like a giant map overlaid on the world. While we just see trees and clouds, a bird might see a glowing compass that tells them exactly which way is north and south, helping them find their home even if they've never been there before. The secret behind why gold is so rare. Most of the gold on Earth didn't start here. Scientists believe that almost all the gold we find was brought here by asteroids crashing into Earth billions of years ago. When the Earth was first forming, it was a hot ball of melted rock. Any gold that was here at the start sank deep into the center, the core, because it was so heavy. The only reason we have gold to make jewelry today is because more asteroids hit the surface after the Earth had cooled down. The second brain in your tummy. Did you know you have more than one brain? Scientists have found a massive network of nerves in your stomach and intestines called the enteric nervous system. It's so smart that it can work all by itself without help from the brain in your head. It manages how you digest food and can even affect your mood. This is why you get butterflies in your stomach when you're nervous. It's your tummy brain reacting to your feelings. The way a snail walks on a sword. Snails and slugs are very soft, but they can crawl over a sharp razor blade without getting hurt. They do this by making a thick layer of slime or mucus. This slime acts like a protective carpet. It is so thick and slippery that it cushions the snail's body, allowing it to glide over sharp rocks or thorns perfectly safely. The slime also helps them stick to walls so they can walk upside down. The fact that sharks have sixth sense. Sharks don't just see and smell their prey. They can feel their electricity. Every living thing, including you, sends out tiny electrical signals when they move their muscles or when their heart beats. Sharks have tiny holes on their noses called ampullae of Lorenzini that act like sensors. This lets them find a fish hiding under the sand just by feeling the electricity of the fish's heartbeat. 19. The way clouds stay in the air. A single big, white cloud can weigh over 1,000,000 pounds, as much as 100 elephants. So why doesn't it fall out of the sky? It's because a cloud is made of millions of tiny water droplets that are so small they are lighter than air. Warm air rising from the ground pushes up on these tiny droplets, keeping them floating. It's only when the droplets clump together and get too heavy that the air can't hold them up anymore, and they fall as rain. The fact that your brain is blind to your eyes moving. Go to a mirror and look at your left eye, then your right eye. You will notice that you never actually see your eyes move. This is because your brain has a safety switch. Every time you move your eyes, your brain turns off your vision for a tiny fraction of a second. If it didn't do this, the world would look like a blurry, shaky mess every time you looked around. Your brain blanks out the motion so you only see clear pictures. The way your nose warms up the air. Your lungs are very sensitive and like the air to be warm and wet. If you breathe in freezing cold air, it could hurt them. To prevent this, your nose is filled with tiny shelves of bone-covered and warm blood vessels. These act like tiny heaters. As air travels through your nose, it gets warmed up and moistened in a split second before it ever reaches your lungs. This is why it's better to breathe through your nose when it's cold outside. The reason why your fingers get wrinkly in the tub. For a long time, people thought skin got wrinkly because it soaked up water like a sponge. But that's not true. Your brain actually orders your fingers to get wrinkly on purpose. When your hands stay wet, your nervous system tells the blood vessels to shrink, which pulls the skin inward. The wrinkles are like treads on a tire. They help you grip wet objects better so things don't slip out of your hands when you're underwater. The way an octopus can disappear. An octopus is a master of disguise. It has thousands of tiny color bags under its skin called chromatophores. By squeezing its muscles, it can make these bags get bigger or smaller, changing its color in less than a second. But they can also change their texture. They can make their skin bumpy like a rock or smooth like sand, making them almost impossible to see even if you're looking right at them. Flea is tiny, but it can jump over 100 times its own height. If a human could do that, they could jump over a skyscraper. Fleas can't use normal muscles for this because muscles don't move fast enough. Instead, they have a special pad of stretchy protein in their legs that acts like a powerful rubber band. The flea loads this spring and then clicks a tiny latch that lets all that energy go at once. It's basically a living catapult. The reason your voice sounds different on a recording. Have you ever heard your voice on a video and thought, that doesn't sound like me? When you speak, you hear your voice in two ways. First, through the air into your ears. Second, through the vibrations of your own skull bones. Those bone vibrations make your voice sound deeper and richer to you. A microphone only catches the air version, which is why your recorded voice sounds higher and stranger than what you hear inside your own head. The fact that the Earth is a giant magnet. Deep inside the Earth, there is a spinning core made of melted iron. This movement creates a giant invisible shield around our planet called a magnetic field. This shield is very important because it protects us from solar winds, tiny, hot pieces of the sun, that would otherwise blow away our air. Compasses work because their little needles are being pulled by this giant magnet at the center of the Earth. The only fruit with seeds on the outside. Most fruits, like apples or oranges, keep their seeds safe inside. But a strawberry is different. It wears its seeds like tiny bumps on its skin. A single strawberry can have about 200 seeds on it. Because the seeds are on the outside, they're the first thing a bird or animal sees. When the animal eats the strawberry, it helps spread the seeds to new places so more strawberry plants can grow. The fact that your hair can feel air. You can't feel things with the hair on your head, but the tiny hairs on your arms and legs are like wind sensors. Every hair sits in a tiny hole, a follicle that is connected to a nerve. When the wind blows even a little bit, it moves the hair, which tugs on the nerve. This tells your brain exactly what is happening around your skin. It's your body's way of sensing a bug crawling on you or a cold breeze before you even feel the temperature. The reason why the ocean is salty. The ocean wasn't always salty. Over millions of years, rain falls on rocks and slowly washes tiny amounts of minerals and salts out of them. This water flows into rivers, and the rivers carry the salt into the ocean. When the sun shines on the ocean, the water turns into clouds, but the salt stays behind. Because this has happened for billions of years, the ocean has become a giant salt bowl.